when Ron does his show at 4. So stay tuned for that as well. But we have a great show lined up here today on Richmond Business Babes. It is celebrating Fair Trade Month and Kid-Preneurs. First up, we are going to meet Jodie Vieriea. She is the owner of One Little World. It's a fair trade retail company. And then at the bottom of the hour, we are going to meet Stevie Wright. She is a kid entrepreneur, owner of, I've got a herb for that. I've got an herb for that with her mother, Alycia Wright. So let me tell you a little bit about our first guest, Jodie Vieriea. First of all, I met her in person at a Christmas fair last year at St. Edward's Church here in Midlothian, Virginia. And she was selling all kinds of really adorable Christmas gifts that were fair trade items. And that always resonates with me because my daughter, Mary Linnell Simmons, had worked for many years with Fair Trade America, which is part of an international organization that certifies businesses to have like a certification, like sort of a good housekeeping seal of approval. It's like the Fair Trade seal of approval. And so my daughter, Mary Linnell Simmons, had worked for many years with that organization. It's a wonderful organization. So whenever I see fair trade coffee being sold or handmade fair trade items like Jodie had for her pop-up sale there at the church, I always check it out. But let me tell you a little bit about Jodie. She is the founder and owner of the only fair trade verified online shop in Richmond, Virginia. She partners with over 75 artisans in 6 global South countries. We're going to go down the list of those countries and offers those unique items at onelittleworld.com. So welcome, Jodie. It's been a long time coming, but we finally got you on. We're so happy you're here.
I'm so excited to be here. So thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
Especially during Fair Trade Month.
Yes, well, that was your idea, and I thought that was a great idea. First of all, pronounce your last name for me. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
You're very close. You are. It's Vieriea.
Vieriea. Oh, okay, Vieriea. Okay.
You're very
We got a lot of vowels in there, so I got confused.
Yes.
And I shouldn't because I'm Italian, so we're used to a lot of vowels, but I don't know why it threw me for a loop. But anyway, you always send me information. You always email it to me, and the thing that resonated with me most recently was you were talking about the Whitney Plus gift baskets with the 2 young girls who learned from their moms, the 2 young girls from Uganda. And as this show unfolds, we're going to get to that. But walk us down your career path, Jodie Vieriea of One Little World. How did you get started and make all those connections in 75 countries?
So, after grad school, I decided to go down and teach in Ecuador. So I spent some time in Ecuador. And it was there that the seed for One Little World was planted. I went to, at the time, it was the largest open-air market in South America. It was about an hour and a half outside of Quito, which is the capital of Ecuador, in a city called Otabala. And I remember before I went, some of my peers that I was teaching with, they, were trying to get me ready, for what was the experience that was coming of going to this market. And they, said, we've got to learn to, negotiate and walk away, and your goal is to get paid the least amount that you can pay for anything you want to buy. And I said, okay, that sounds good. So I get to the market, step off the bus, and I am in awe of just the beauty, the colors, the smells. It was like the best sensory experience ever. taking all of this in. And so it was in that moment that I said, I can't and I don't want to pay the least amount that I can for these things. I want to know more about them. I want to know about, the producer who made this, and what are the materials, and what's the tradition or the culture that's involved in, what's the story in this product. And so, yeah, that was the moment that I think the seed was planted for One Little World. And I've since, as you mentioned, I partnered with artisans in 6 different countries, and they all kind of have their own little story. Really quick, from Ecuador, I went to Nepal. We have dear friends. My husband, he had a coworker, and she was from Nepal. And we became friends with their family, and she loved her country so much. Adriana, my husband, and I said, okay, we've got to go check Nepal out. And so that was my next country. From there, Uganda. Our little son is Ugandan. We adopted him about 6 years ago, and so we spent time. We lived in Uganda for 18 months. I'm probably closest to my partners in Uganda because of that time. And then from there, Kenya, which is right next door. I adopted an elephant from there in high school, and my husband took me to visit my elephant in 2010 when we went to the World Cup in South Africa. And so I picked up some partnerships in Kenya. From there, Brazil, which is where my husband's from, and we spend a lot of time. And my most recent country is Rwanda. And so that became because we discovered that our son's birth mother was Rwandan. I need to find out more about this place. And so the last time I was over visiting my artisans in Kenya and Uganda, I said, let me just take a quick 30-minute flight over. And I did, and I created 6 partnerships during that trip. So,
well, Jodie Vieriea of One Little World, you make it sound very easy. It's just blowing my mind,
Right.
Just what I just hop on a plane to Rwanda,
Right. I know. Like 20 years ago, I would be terrified, but now it's. And when I go to a place, I do as much research as I can before I go on the materials, the local sustainable materials that are available, because that's what we use. We're very careful with that too. And we always start at the market, and I'll go and, just like I did in Ecuador, so many years ago, looking at product that resonates with me, colors, and then there's steps after that I also take to
we're gonna talk about that as well. And when I met you at the I guess it was the Christmas Fair at St. Edward's, what resonated with you resonated with me. I mean, it was just all adorable and just cute gift items, and you have obviously a knack and a good eye for picking things. I mean, your goose was very popular there. But okay, look, you started in Ecuador. You met the people in the biggest market there, I guess, in Central America. And let me just correct myself. Sorry, I said 75 countries. It was 75 artisans, and you said it's 6 countries. So sorry about that. But so were you already married at that point to your husband, who is a native of Brazil, or not?
We weren't married yet, and actually, my husband he lived in his office. He was in a PhD program, and we lived in Austin, Texas. We met in Austin. We lived in Dallas. But he was in a PhD program in Austin at the time, and I said, I'm going to go down and teach. And, I had just finished grad school, and he was going to be in for a couple more years. And so I went down. Of course, he visited, and we did back and forth. After I finished teaching in Ecuador, and I moved back to Texas, we then moved to Dallas. And that was the moment. I was still thinking about these artisans. Nothing happened on that first trip when I was living there. Just the seed was planted. I was back in the U.S., I was teaching, and it was summer break, and I told Adriano, I said, I feel like I need to go back down there. I don't know why, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I can't stop thinking about these beautiful things that are just, tourists come through and wants to, talk one of the artisans down to getting something for $1. The whole concept.
Yeah. Well, and
was.
how hard was that first step to take to negotiate contracts and then to start importing, because you are a U.S. citizen, correct? So you're importing to the U.S. Okay. So what was that? What hurdles did you have to jump through to do that, or was it relatively easy? I don't really know anything about the export business.
I'm not sure how I knew some of the steps that I needed to take, but I remember translating everything on paper, like every possible scenario, situation, question into Spanish so that I had correct. My Spanish it was okay at the time, but maybe not business okay.
Yeah.
And so I typed everything. I had, hard copy. And one of the things that I always do when I start at the market is to ensure that the person who says they made it is the actual producer. I have to visit their workshop and see them working. I want to see the materials that they're using. I want to watch them make the thing that I am in love with, so that I know that it is that person. Because sometimes at markets, you'll find somebody else selling. They've gone into the rural areas and bought things very inexpensively. They bring it to the market. They claim it as theirs, and they, mark up the price and sell it. And then when I came back to the U.S., I created 3 partnerships on that trip. When I came back to Dallas, right away, the Small Business Development Center in Dallas also had an international small business development center. And so that was a huge resource for me in getting, familiar with the harmonizing codes that are required when you are shipping, shipping how to ship by air. Like what's involved, like how to connect with, shippers who can, airlines who can get the best deal, how do I go through customs,
And I would imagine the shipments were small to start, because if they're artisans and they're hand making things, there's not a whole lot of product, I would imagine.
Right, the first couple times I was going down and bringing stuff back myself. And then it got to a point where I couldn't do that anymore. Adrian and I were married, and we started having kids, and life was happening, and then I was also adding countries, and so from finding a way for it to work to where I wouldn't have to travel often. I do travel. I took my last big trip in the spring of 2023. I went to. Oh my goodness, I probably took some years off my life, but I visited, I went from here to Nepal, to Uganda, to Kenya, to Rwanda, and then came home, and then we went
That was one big trip
to Brazil with our family. So it was nuts.
That was one continuous trip.
It was.
Wow.
It was,
Was that a month-long trip, or?
It was about a month and a half counting Brazil, but you had, each country has their own currency and their own language, their own time zone, their own cultures and customs, which are very important part of the world too, that we're honoring, traditions and stories of the products.
I know. I really like the emails that you send. And by the way, just want to say to our audience, if you've just tuned in, you're listening to Richmond Business Babes here on WRWK 93.9 FM The Work in Midlothian, Virginia, and also as an encore presentation on WRIR, Richmond Independent Radio, 97.3 FM in Richmond. And we are talking with Jodie Vieriea. She is the owner of One Little World. It's an import business featuring retail, fair trade, artisan products handmade from around the world. So now, after that, big last trip, I think I met you in, let's see, 2024 was December of 2024. And so I think that was that around the time where you said you were no longer, and I mean, we're hop, skipping, and jumping over about what, 2 decades? How many decades are we jumping over right now? When did you start your business? What year was that?
I started my business. I was trying to think back. because my youngest is on fall break right now, and he was doing practice questions.
Okay.
He's me right now. Hi, and but he was doing practice questions, and one of his practice questions was, "Well, how long have you been in business?" I had to go back and think because when I went down and created those partnerships in Ecuador, I still didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know. Am I starting a business? Am I, what is this? And so it's about 14, 15 years since then. I've been doing events for probably 13 years. And we've been in Richmond for 10 of those years. And so I'll be at Folk Fest this weekend coming up.
Right.
And this is my 9th year at the Richmond Folk Festival. So in the marketplace. You can come and see me there. But so I've been doing events, for a long time.
Okay. So now when I met you, you still actually had a retail shop. And I think earlier this year, because I met you in 2024, I guess, but earlier this year when I was trying to bribe you to come on the air with us, you were like, there's just so much happening because you were deciding to pivot and end the shop and just do pop-ups and go online. So how hard was that decision?
It was really hard. I loved having a home for all of my products and not having to pack it up at the end of the day and go back in the trailer. And I loved people coming in, and I do feel I was told many times that when you walked into the shop, you were overwhelmed with the smells and just the warmth of these products, my products, all products of One Little World. And so that was really hard to step away from. But, I may revisit opening a store again down the road. Mm-hmm. Right now, with our kids and just being present at home, it was on the weekends, you have to be in the store.
That's a life decision. You chose your family, and that's your priority, and it's a great priority. Well, how's it going so far with just doing online and pop-ups?
It's going. There's a learning curve with online, doing ads and figuring out those strategies.
Talk about that. Tell me about that. What have you experienced so far? What have you learned?
Yeah. I have an amazing employee. She's not an employee. Sarah Small is my operations manager, and she is tackling this so that I can be doing the other side. I'm receiving orders right now. My shipments have come in. Last week I received from Nepal, and this week I received from Uganda, Rwanda, and Kenya. So I'm getting all of that organized and preparing for this big event this weekend. And so Sarah has really taken that on, and working with our consultant Gabby and identifying what does this look like out in the World Wide Web of retail. And so I don't know too much about it other than it's the algorithms. Figuring out how to get our ads in front of people who have a passion for things like fair trade.
Yeah.
So, it's that. And I also want to say, in my business, I couldn't do it without Sarah. I couldn't do it without my mom and my husband and my kids.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones who play a big role in making this business work. So.
I can tell you're getting very emotional, and it's more than a business. It sounds like it's a true mission. So that's wonderful. I really like that about your work, Jodie, and what you're doing. I have to talk financials, though, okay? Because it is a business, right? So if you had to separate the online from the pop-ups, right? And are you also in stores?
I'm in a couple shops locally.
You might want to look into Lioness. Do you know where that is?
Yeah, I do.
You do? Have you talked to her?
We've chatted before.
Okay.
This is when I had a store.
Oh, okay, yeah, because she has some really cool products, and she likes to tell stories about every one of her items. So that to me would resonate with you, But what stores are you in?
So I currently am in here. I live on the south side. The Nest is an awesome little shop. It's right off of Forest Hill, and they just have an amazing collection of everything. And so they have lived on One Little World for many years, and they're always excited to take whatever they can. They'll bring their way. And so I'm getting ready to take Holiday over to them in a few weeks. And I'm also in. There's a gallery on Cherry Street, Cool Colors.
Okay.
Met, and he takes many of my things too, and Glen Allen Cultural Arts Center.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. So these are long-term relationships too. So I'm grateful for those.
That's great. Well, how many? Okay, so let me get back to my original questions. I sidetracked myself. So you have your online store, and then you do pop-ups, and then you supply inventory to a few retail locations.
Right.
So if you had to separate all that out, which area is the most profitable? Is it the online store?
It's the events right now.
The events.
And that's the thing, like translating that. Really, it is a sensory experience. I feel like I feel it every time. I get in with my products, and when people see the products, and I have something for everyone, and I work with a lot of materials from glasses to felt to wood, paper, and seeds and nuts, and so when people see the product or when they try it on, or jewelry mainly, they love it, they buy it, and so but
they feel good about the purchase, I think.
And
even if it's maybe more than
it's made
right.
This and this person made it.
Right. And I'm very cost conscious about things, but when I saw your items, I was just like, and then, like maybe they're a little bit more than the normal sort of gift shop type artisan item, but you felt good about it. You wanted it because you liked it, but also because there's something behind that. There's a reason, and you're helping someone. So
the connection is really important to me, and I think that's part with online. But I am learning that it can happen still online. Online sales. But it is that connection. I can tell you who made this. I can tell you about their family and how many kids they have and where in this country they live, and
and you're doing better with the pop-ups, but is the margin better with online because you're not really? I mean, you're investing your time to some degree, but it's not like going to a festival for a weekend, right? So,
right.
So
that's the ideal. That is, I guess, my aim. Or another question from my son today: what is your aim? And I said, well, my aim is for online to be successful, so that I can, prioritize my life in the correct order. And right now, it's my family, my kids, and. But I can still do some of the local events that I cherish.
Yeah, I think that energizes you, right?
Yeah.
Because you get the feedback, right? So you don't really get that kind of level of feedback online. The fall festival.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know how many times a customer has given me an idea. Have you thought about this? Or I've done some custom orders too. And it happens at those in-person events where you're making connections and having conversations.
And now what about your relationships with a few of the retailers in the Richmond metro area? So like what is your profit margin for the pop-up versus the online versus the reselling through retailers?
Yeah, I think definitely I do best in-person events right now. The online picks up around the holidays, and that's before we've done any investing in ads or anything like this. So hopefully this coming holiday season will look different as seasons past, years past. I do well in my shops too, and that's a nice little at the end of December when they send me kind of a record of things that sold, and that's a nice little bump, and that I don't always count on, just because I never know.
Yeah.
And so the in-person events, and if anyone out there who's ever shopped with me in person, I think they could attest to that. It is something, well, you have,
Yes.
Going to the event and seeing the products, seeing the colors, and hearing the stories, or learning about the countries of origin or the materials. Those are all things that excite me and that I love to talk about. So, definitely the in-person experience.
And of your, how many items of inventory, like how many product lines? So how many product lines do you have? You have jewelry, clothing, sort of like ornaments. I remember a lot of ornaments.
I have a holiday, which includes like decoration, like decor, and then also the ornaments. I do wreaths and garlands, beautiful nativities. I have a kitchen, kind of a home line that includes kitchen and some decor for the home. I have kids, things for kids. I have men's, women's.
What are your top 3 sellers?
Oh gosh. Okay, so dryer balls.
Dryer
I
balls?
select the color. Yes, dryer balls are very common. They kind of come and go, but mostly go. People love the colors because I have so many different colors, and I'm strict with colors, but I feel like the colors that are chosen for one another. They complement one another, and so my felt nativity from Nepal.
I remember that.
Our first project that my artisans and I in Nepal created together, and it started with just the Inn and Mary, Joseph, Jesus. I think I had one king and an angel, and now we've added to it, and there's other animals, and all 3 kings are there, and it's precious, and people love it. It's kids can play with it. That's one of the highlights of it. But, and I think if I had to choose another product, my warm felt garland.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
3 times the green. Yeah, I just got a new shipment in, and it's selling. People were waiting for it, and so, and I added a little more length to it this year, and we added some additional flowers, so that's a big seller. And that has a matching wreath, which sometimes sells along with it. But those are probably my 3 biggest sellers.
Okay, so it's more home decor category versus apparel or jewelry.
Yeah, jewelry sells sometimes, but I think there's so much jewelry out there anywhere. It's kind of hard. I don't bring in a ton of jewelry, a lot of jewelry, and, really mindful of that. But I bring in what I love and what I wear, and I only wear one little jewelry, and I just got some new pieces in. I partner with an organization in Rwanda that works with women, trains women to bring them out of the sex trade and into making jewelry. And they actually just bought a restaurant that's organized. So they are now training women on how to bake and cook and run a restaurant. And so it is expanded, and I'm so excited to be part of that and to tell the stories of these women. It's incredible. And so that jewelry obviously is something exceptional because of the story behind it. And so,
That's wonderful.
Jewelry.
Well, what's the name of your son who was coaching you on the questions?
My son is NC.
NC. Well, you tell NC he did a good job. and maybe, how old is he?
He's 8.
Oh, okay. He may be a little too young to come on the air and have his own show, but maybe when he's a teenager, he sounds like he's going to be a great journalist and interviewer. So tell him he done good. So what was your? It sounds like your company grew organically. From your first starts when you were living in Texas and importing, on a small scale, like what you could carry back. And then when did you move to the Richmond area?
We moved in 2015, 2014. At the end of 2014, our daughter, she was 6 months old, and we came to Richmond. I came back home, to Virginia, and my husband came here for the first time.
Okay, so you're a native of Virginia.
Yeah. Grew up in New Kent County.
Okay.
Not too far from here.
No, not too far at all.
And so we've been here since the end of 2014.
Okay. And then when did you actually open your shop? Because you closed it in 2020, this year. You closed it this year, right?
Right.
Yeah. When did you open?
2025. I opened it in 2023, I guess. Yeah, because right after that big trip that I took, my partners, my artisan partners, I came back and opened the store. Okay. And it was so exciting. And here in my neighborhood, I mentioned I live on the south side, so walkable to my house, and just a sweet little space. 300 square feet. It was tiny, but it was perfect. And that was in May of 2023, and then I closed at the end of February of this year. Yeah. And retail, storefronts are God. Yeah. I don't regret it, and I learned so much. And it's missed. I have customers who go there still, and then I'll go to an event, and they were like, I love the store, it's not there anymore. And I miss it too. But my customers can find me. I will meet you if you wanted to come and check out, where I keep my inventory. Where do you keep? You have a warehouse, or? Yes, I have a space over here on the south side too. That I keep it. And like I said, I just got these 2 big shipments in, and so I'm, kind of categorizing it now and tagging it and getting it ready for the season ahead. Well, I wish you good luck with the Christmas holiday season. Tell everyone how they can reach out to you, Jodie Vieriea of One Little World. Yeah, so the best place to start would be onelittleworld.com, my website. And from there, you can sign up for monthly newsletters where we highlight the different. I'm a member of Fair Trade Federation, which is an organization that verifies businesses fair trade. And that's when I mentioned that your daughter she was Fair Trade America, I believe. Yes, and I'm familiar with that one. Yeah. I think that's one part of an international, maybe World Fair Trade Organization too. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know. She said there's another organization that sounds almost identical to theirs, but they're the true one. Yeah. So, but they certify mostly food products and things like coffee. Okay, yeah. And, yeah. Okay. You don't sell anything that comes with food. I do not. No. Do you think you'll ever expand to that, or you don't want to? I don't know. If the product were to come out, maybe. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I think it is a different animal. It's true. Right? Yeah. I would. You would have to certify the farmers. That's what her. Right, that's another couple trips. Yeah. Right, that's right. Go and create those partnerships. But anyway, if someone wanted to, as a retailer who would like to get in touch with you as one of their vendors. Yes, they can find me also starting at the website onelittleworld.com, and you can sign up. My email's on there. You can also sign up for a monthly newsletter where we highlight an artisan or a Fair Trade Federation principal. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I'm looking at that newsletter that you sent. I'm going to read some of it. Meet Whitney and Gift from Uganda. They are beautiful daughters of 2 of our basket weaving partners, Annette and Rose. Together, they're learning the unique and traditional way of weaving from their mamas. A few years ago, they included a few of their own baskets in the shipment from Uganda to Richmond as a gift for me and to share how their learning is progressing. I displayed their baskets in our former shop, and customers wanted their own Whitney and Gift baskets for their homes. So the idea was born, the offer to customers to take home a Whitney and Gift basket for a donation contributing towards their school fees. And then I'll just conclude with this. There is such beauty in the thought of the girls sitting with their moms,
to learn the skills they too will pass along one day. This important act keeps weaving tradition alive in Uganda. Fair trade, it's about dignity, opportunity, and hope. You're helping ensure that children of our artisan communities grow up with security and freedom. I love that.
Yeah, and that's really what fair trade is right there.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Honoring those traditions and honoring family, community. I mean, it's so much more than a product. It's so much more.
Well, and our next guest, which I have to ask the remarkable Ron, are they there yet? They're here. Okay, so I'm going to let you go, Jodie Vieriea of One Little World, and I just want to tell you and our audience that our next guest is a mom and daughter. So,
and I know them. So hello.
You know them?
Yes, I do.
Oh, that's
Stevie, use Stevie products, and they're amazing.
Oh, well, tell us what you think of them. So what have you used?
So our son was part of Cultural Roots last year. It's a co-op that meets on the north side over at Spring Camp, and Alycia she's one of the founders, if not the founder of Cultural Roots, and it's an amazing homeschool community, and our son thrives in that community. He just missed not going to school every day, and so he's back in the traditional program this year. But Cultural Roots is very dear to our hearts. So he was another student, Alicia's daughter. She was older, but she has some great teas and her magnesium spray. So highly recommend.
That's wonderful. Well, Jodie Vieriea of One Little World, thank you so much for coming on. And I just want to ask you one last question before I let you go. What advice would you give to anyone who's listening who perhaps is considering starting either a store or an import-export business, which is kind of really what you have import, what you're doing? What was either the biggest aha moment of learning, like I'll never make that mistake again, or this was the best decision I ever made to go down XYZ path? What can you tell us about that?
Oh gosh, I would say that samples are very important because a lot gets lost, in conversation on the phone or by, video. Colors are different. If I say spring colors to my artisans in the call, they're like, new spring colors, so really, honing in on the specifics.
Okay.
Whatever it is you are looking to find or create. And I think just also just being open to what could come your way. Like I never imagined. I don't know how I got here really, but I know how I got here at the same time. Just being open to the path that the journey, I guess, which seems so cliche or so broad, but it was a broad journey for me, and it's taken me to many places. And so you never know, like if you just are open to what the possibilities.
I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you're still on your way on that journey. So
I know.
All the
My son
best.
asked me, what's your next country? And I'm like, I'm not going there.
Well, when you go there, you let me know and we'll get you back on. And all the best to you, Jodie Vieriea of One Little World. We appreciate you coming on
this week. So thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye now.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
All right. If you have just tuned in, I am Lisa Linnell, your host with Richmond Business Groups. And here is the remarkable Ron, my producer, and Rockin' Roger, who's going to follow up with Ron on Ron's show later. And we are celebrating Fair Trade Month and Kid Entrepreneurs. We are going to next meet Stevie Wright. She is a young lady who is an entrepreneur and owner of I've Got an Herb for That, along with her mother, Alycia Wright. So welcome. Hi.
Hi, thank you.
I met you both at the Richmond's Kids Business Fair. And what was that, February or March, I think?
Yes.
Yeah. And I was taking notes of all the booths of all the young people that I saw their products or spoke to them. And the notes that I put for you, Stevie, was good packaging. And and I wrote down that you had the elderberry jam, the herbal
Yes.
teas, and just all kinds of natural products. So, first of all, Stevie Wright, how old are you?
I'm 12 years old.
12 years old. And how long have you been in the business with I've got an herb for that?
I've been in the business for about 3 years.
Wow. So you started at 9 years old.
Yes.
Okay. And I wrote a note to myself, which you may or may not want to talk about, but I guess it's okay because you told me that you had a, a health issue that kind of got you into herbal products.
Yeah, so I have asthma, which is a lung conditioning, and I have double lung asthma, so it's in both my lungs. And basically, the medicine that the doctors were giving me is not as healthy as it could be and as it should be. So we decided to start making kind of our own medicine.
Okay.
So yeah.
Very good. So tell us what you made first and why you decided to sell it. Were you so excited that it helped you that you thought, "Well, let me sell it so others can benefit from it?"
So the first thing that I made was a sage. What was it called?
A salve, yeah.
A sage salve. That you like rub on your chest to like. So it's basically like
Vicks.
Vicks,
Vicks. Okay.
but
You know
healthy.
what just popped into my mind? My dad, who's passed, used to talk about when he was a kid, so you're talking in the 30s, many years ago. He said when he was a kid, they used to put a mustard salve on them, like it was made of mustard, and he said it
Mhm.
burned so much, but when you were sick, it burned, but it was like it helped you too. Did
Yeah.
you use any mustard at all?
No.
Okay, maybe better not. You don't wanna hurt anybody. But, okay, so you made that out of sage, and, like, did you and your mom research the ingredients and the recipe for that, or how did that come about?
Yes, we did search up the recipe to make sure like everything was correct and like all the equal parts.
Okay, and so you were your own first customer then?
Yeah.
You tried it out on yourself?
Yeah.
Did it take some, like, fine tuning to get it to the right consistency
Uh
and comfort
yes.
level to be where this helps, but it doesn't it's not burning me or it's not too
Yeah.
sticky or not too, you know.
Yeah, we definitely had a lot of failed attempts.
Uh-huh. So a lot of trial and error. Okay, so
Yeah.
now so you've made your sage balm or salve and now how old are you at this point? 10 or you're 9 still or how old were you when that
When I made the sage salve, I think I was either 9 or 10.
Okay. And then whose idea was it to say, "Hey, let's do other products or let's sell this." What happened next?
It was kind of a mix of my mom's and I. My mom knew that I could make more, but I didn't know what other ones like I really wanted to make.
Uh-huh. So what was your next product?
My next product after that was probably the magnesium spray. Or
Oh,
no, simmer pots.
say it again.
Simmer pots?
Simmer pucks?
Yes. Simmer
What's
pots have like a whole bunch of herbs in them, and then you put them in a pot of boiling hot water with about 2 cups of water in it, and it helps clean the air in your house.
Oh, okay. So you were making the ingredients and packaging that to put in the pot.
Yes.
Okay, that's nice. I bet it smells good.
Yeah.
That's fun. Well, and what grade are you in now?
I'm in 7th grade.
And you're homeschooled by your mom, Alycia.
Yes.
Yeah, I really liked your booth, and I really liked the packaging.
Thank you.
how did that packaging evolve, and what, like, where do you go to get that? Like, it just was very attractive and professional looking.
I definitely think we looked at a lot of simmer pots packagings, and we realized that that one wasn't quite right for the way that we wanted our packaging to look at. So I think we mainly went on, where did we get the jars from?
Amazon.
Yeah, I think we were mainly like looking on Amazon, then we found the right one.
Cool is that? So not only are you making money as a business, Stevie Wright, owner of I've Got an Herb for That, but this is really, you're learning so much. I'm assuming that you're learning, about how business operates and your profit margins and
Yeah.
and expenses and if you cut this expense you'll get more profit per item. So talk to me about the business side of that. Like what have you learned so
Um,
far?
I've learned that sometimes even if prices and packaging go up, you can't really raise your prices. Like if the packaging goes up $1, you can't really raise your prices up $1 because
Uh-huh.
that's like say simmer pots are $5, then the packaging rose, or like say multiple things in the simmer pots, everything rose $1. Say three
Yeah.
things rose $1. You like can't raise it like $3 or something like that,
I see what you're saying because you might
or
turn off
put
some
less.
customers. Is that you'll lose
Yeah.
some of your customers? Okay. Well, let's talk about your product line. So you've got the simmer pots, you've got the sage salve, you've got jam. What are the top 5 products that sell the most?
The top 5 products that sell the most are magnesium oil, simmer pots, and we used to make these like little flower bunches. So it'd be a bunch, or not flower, it'd be a bunch, and it'll have like goldenrod, sage, rosemary, and like all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And it would be in a little bunch, and those sold out like all the time when we brought them. So those are probably like the number one bestseller. And
Okay.
then
And excuse me,
after that,
Stevie, you said you used to make those, you don't make them anymore?
we don't really make them when it starts to get colder because the herbs don't grow as much when it starts to get colder.
So do you grow these herbs in your own garden?
Yes,
Oh, that's nice. So
we
you're
grow
a
them, and then
gardener and you're a business
yeah,
woman, young lady, a business young lady, 12 years old. Okay. So then that is what we call seasonal, right? The
yeah.
flower, okay. So you've got the simmer pots and the sage, and what's another big seller?
Hmm.
The tea blends.
Oh yeah, the tea blends are very popular.
Mhm.
Especially the 3 ones. So you can either get one in a tea bag that has like, you start with a green tea base, and then you can choose like any of the flavors that we have, or you can start, or if you get like the big pouch that makes about 3 to 4 cups, I would say.
Uh-huh.
You can choose like 3 of any of the flavors and scoop them out individually.
Okay. And by the way, if you've just tuned in, you're listening to Richmond Business Babes here on WRWK 93.9 FM, The Work, in Midlothian, Virginia, and also now syndicated as an encore presentation on WRIR Richmond, Virginia, Richmond Independent Radio. I am your host, Lisa Linnell, and we are talking to Stevie Wright. She is a 12-year-old entrepreneur, owner of I've Got an Herb for That, and along with her mother, Alycia Wright. And Stevie is talking about her product line. So you grow most of the materials to put into making the product. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So that's a cost savings right there. And then do you package all the products yourself, you and your mom?
Yes, we package them by ourselves.
Okay.
So like for the summer pots, sometimes we'll have like my dad help us sometimes, and like we'll have like little like stations that you scoop it in. Like you scoop the product into the bag to package it.
So do you like put on music and just have fun, like a
Yes.
factory assembly line setup and you're just, telling
Yeah.
stories and that's nice. Um, I y- Alicia, you'll know this. Well, maybe you won't. You're pretty young. But did you ever hear of I Love Lucy, the TV show?
Oh,
I
I
Love
love Lucy. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So there's one famous episode where she and her best friend Ethel are doing the assembly line with the chocolates. Have you
Yeah.
Okay. I think Stevie might get a kick out of that, kind of given the, setup there, but it's not quite that automated.
Yeah.
But anyway, um, so what do you like about owning your own business? Is it making money? Is it helping people? Is it the creativity that goes behind each product? What brings you joy with this,
I
Stevie Wright?
really like I really like getting to kind of explore um like the exploring and like the creativity, and you get to like change things, and basically like you're the owner of what you get to do.
I like that. That's really great. I think you're headed for big things. I don't think you're employee material. I think you're definitely, entrepreneur, business owner, president of the company material here. Um, and you said that you started because you do have asthma and all of that. Have you seen a significant difference in your own health from your products?
Yes, I definitely realized a change when we didn't fully switch off of all the doctor's medicine, because some of the stuff like you can't really make and we don't know how to yet.
Uh-huh.
Um but I definitely noticed that it got like a lot better when I
Uh-huh.
started to use my own products.
Uh-huh. And do you like drink the teas as well?
Yes, I
Uh,
like to. My favorite tea blend is probably the mint and hibiscus.
oh, that sounds good. I always remember they said if you can't go to sleep, chamomile, is that what it's called?
Chamomile.
Tea is good. Yeah. Um,
Chamomile really helps to calm you.
yeah, yeah. That's great. Well, what did you think about the kids entrepreneur business fair there in Richmond? What building was that? It was behind the Science Museum. I can't remember the name of the building. Do you remember that,
I
Alicia?
think it was the Galtwald building,
Yes, that's
something
what it
like
was.
that.
Right, right, right. What did you think, Stevie, of that fair? You seem very comfortable talking to me and anybody who came up to your booth. So I was like, maybe she's done this before. Was that your first time doing something like that?
No, I sell at the Black Farmers Market, and sometimes I sell at the Freckled Field Farm.
The little
Oh,
farmers market in Montpelier as well.
oh, that's nice. That's great. And where's the Black Farmers Market?
It's
Yeah,
at Shalom Farms every other Sunday.
Oh,
yes.
okay. I know where that is. That's cool. Very cool. So you're used to dealing with the public and you're very comfortable with that.
Yeah.
So, um, what's next? What do you think are you going to expand your product line? Oh, you know what? Before you answer that, what kind of health code, you know, uh, restrictions or there's health codes involved with these, the jam and the tea and all that, right?
Yeah, you definitely have to make sure you wear gloves and like wash your hands and your area is clean so nothing gets in it.
Mm-hmm.
Um those are like the main ones, but you really need to make sure everything's clean, because obviously if someone's going to be using this or like putting it in their mouth, like it's obviously different than family, because
Yeah.
family, like
Right.
they kind of like understand, but if they're not, you want to definitely keep them happy, so really make sure everything is clean.
Yeah. And you do this at home in your kitchen, or do you go to an
Yes.
industrial kitchen? Okay. And how many items of inventory? Like what is, do you have like 100 jams jars and 100, tea, tea bags, or like, and the simmer pots? Like what do you keep on hand? Or do you have 100?
We definitely keep the simmer pots on hand because they're really big sellers. And then the flowers and all that stuff, we currently typically keep them drying.
Okay.
So like if you ever need them, you can.
The dried, we dry the herbs.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many, like what's in your inventory? Like do you have 100,
Oh.
200 simmer pots, 500?
I don't think we have that much.
I know we have a lot of simmer pots.
We do. We have lots of ingredients, but we don't necessarily have them all like put together
Okay, so
already.
you do
When
that
you
for show, like that's when
Exactly.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like when you put them together, sometimes I know after the markets, you can't really resell a lot of the things that you can definitely resell a lot of things if you have them, if you have a market like maybe the next day, but you definitely want to replace a few things, especially when it's hot, because for
Yeah.
example, we had some of the oranges get soggy at the market.
Okay, you don't want
So
to
we
sell.
had to like
Yeah,
take that out.
yeah. They have a short shelf life, as they say, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like for elderberry syrup, you have to keep it refrigerated, and for like magnesium and your plantain oil and hydrosols, all of them have to really be refrigerated.
You have learned so much, and of course, we're crediting you, Alycia Wright, her mom. So
Yeah.
Stevie, what is next for you? What's coming down the road in the next year? Are you going to expand your product line, or are you just going to do more shows, more farmers markets? What are your thoughts?
Definitely gotta do more farmers markets, and I'm definitely gotta keep expanding and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think we're looking for a mentor for Stevie. I do some plant herbalism things as well, and so Stevie just has been around it. But I think someone who could help Stevie, learn how do you do test markets, how do how do you understand or read the information you receive from test markets? How do you
Right.
decide what products to do? How do you decide how much to invest in it? Like all those things, I think. So if there's anyone listening who would love to mentor a young boss kid, we'd love that. And we're in the far western Henrico area.
Okay, well, do you want to give out some contact information? That would be fine if you want to.
Oh yeah. I
We
think
have
you have an email, right?
we
Well,
also have the my Instagram. You can
okay. Yeah, you can.
yeah.
It's
It's I've and then underscore got underscore and basically underscore after every word, and I've got an herb for that, but the 4 is just the number 4.
Okay.
And there's no underscore.
Okay.
so Instagram. I've got an herb for that, and then look for a kid face.
Yeah.
All right. And do you want to give out an email or phone number or anything like that? No.
Oh yeah, I'll give our number. It's 804. You can just send a text message 306-8116.
Okay.
That's our personal number, so we don't have like a business line necessarily. But we're happy to take
Soon to come,
messages
right? Soon to come.
and text. Yeah, text messages are probably best because, like a lot of folks, if we don't recognize the number, it's unlikely we're answering it. But also, I've got an herb for that at Gmail.
Yeah. An
Okay.
underscore after every
Oh no, I've got an herb that there's no at Gmail. For that. Okay.
Try it all.
Stick with the stick with the Instagram and the phone number. I know we'll get you.
Okay. And one last question for Stevie. If you wanted to encourage a friend who was your age to become a young entrepreneur, what would you say to them?
I'd probably talk about my experiences and how I started and ask them like how they would want to start and like basically hear their ideas and maybe see if I could help them and just really try to encourage them because it's really like it's not as hard as people it's definitely hard, but a lot of people make it seem like oh, your entire life is just going to be full trying to figure one problem out.
Yeah.
Um, in it, but it's not.
Well, I think it sounds like it's also fun.
Mm-hmm.
And and definitely how you can talk to customers.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You're very good at that, Stevie, right? Well, it's been so wonderful to finally get you and your mom, Alycia Wright, on Richmond Business Babes, and I want to wish you both all the best. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having us. And
Um,
please check us out. I've got an herb for that at the
Yes.
RVA Black Farmers Market, welcoming all folks every other Sunday, and the Freckled Flower Farm Market in Montpelier, Virginia.
all right.
All right.
Very good. Well, thank you again, Stevie Wright, owner of I've Got an Herb for That. All the best to you. And
Thank you.
if you missed any part of this show, you can always check it out at richmondbusinessbabes.com where we put podcasts up. I do want to thank the remarkable Ron, my producer, and Rock and Roger, who gives us support here as well. My name is Lisa Linnell. You have been listening to Richmond Business Babes on WRWK 93.9 FM. And then also an encore presentation on WRIR, Richmond Independent Radio, 97.3 FM. If you are a Richmond Business Babe, now you go get them.
All right. Back to our programming loop, folks. This is WRWK, Midlothian, Virginia.